Hi, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you will be watching this live recorded video. Welcome back. I have been very busy and I went through most of my emails. And today I want to address a very real situation, a very important and crucial point, which is 90 days. Um, some of you guys know that if you apply for a visa for Ukrainian lady, she is going to be a 90 days fiancé. So basically, she will have 90 days after she arrived to United States on via K1 visa to get married. And these are very, very important days because your destiny is basically for both of you is going to be decided during those 90 days. And of course, happy endings or happy beginnings, shall I say, are always exciting, and I prefer, of course, to focus on the positive. But I feel that for you, it wouldn't be fair if we will left, we will leave some of the very important things behind and pretend they don't exist and they do not happen. I had covered some of the cases in this last year, 2019, about several of my subscribers and clients who had to take a very tough decision. And so I'll try to find them. I'll try to find them and link them below. By the way, a lot of you ask, Veronica, can you publish your email, your Facebook, your website, and all of your information under the video? Yes, I can, but my computer is seeing the doctor. So as soon as I get it back, I will put all the links below my videos as I usually had. So, but if you have a urgent question, you can post it under the video in the comments, or you can write to consultveronica@gmail.com. If somebody is on the chat right now who knows how to spell my email, I would appreciate if you put it in the chat. Welcome everybody. So today is a very serious topic. I think it's important to know and realize what responsibility you take on when you bring a lady back to United States. As you know, there is it's not a complicated process, but it's a complex process. It's a lot harder than just hopping on a plane, getting a ticket. For those of you guys who live in the United States and think that you're not privileged, and you have all these ideas that world is unfair. Try to live in Eastern European country when every step you need tons of visas and lots of paperwork. As this is what you're gonna experience with Ukrainian ladies, and several men from my VIP club last year got engaged, and they were extremely frustrated with how long K1 process takes. But yet, I want to have you another reminder, give you another reminder that K1 is the best way for your fiancé, for your genuine fiancé, okay? Not a fake scam or anything like that. To get to United States, it's the shortest, even though it takes forever. It takes about 6-7 months after you submitted your application. It's still the best way to start it on this journey. But it's a lot harder, once again, than just hopping on a plane. Like, you can go to Ukraine, you don't need a visa. And this is where you realize how privileged you are, because as we talked, Ukrainian lady cannot visit you in 95% out of times before you had applied for the fiancé visa. And Once again, it takes about 6 to 7 months, something like that, to process, to get all the things squared away, to get approved. So hopefully all of you have this basic knowledge. Today, let's talk about, once again, about responsibilities and challenges that you can have, and what do you do? What do you do when you realize, you went through the process, you went through possibly 1 or 2 years of knowing a lady, and for international dating, it's a long time. Let's just say it. For international dating, 1 to 2 to 3 years is a long time. So you've been going back and forth, and finally, the visa is approved, the application is approved. She got her appointment in the U.S. Embassy. By the way, hello to the U.S. Embassy. I've learned that there are people in U.S. Embassy in Ukraine that are aware of the work I do and watching the videos. So special hi to people who work and put a lot of effort to make these things happen. We appreciate you. And what do you do when it's a happy day? She went to that interview, she got her visa, she's coming, and suddenly you realize that a lot of things you didn't know about each other. You might not be compatible in many ways, because there is a big difference between dating and being somewhere else and being at the house, and seeing the person. Some of you guys have been alone for a very long time, or you just have all these habits, that are, we all have weird habits. Let's say the truth. All of us have habits that are not very that look strange to others. But especially I feel like with single guys, a lot of times they are, you are, they are, we are, in some uh, shape, form. You have your single habits. Maybe you throw your socks around, maybe you snore. There is not much you can do unless you have another room. Maybe, there are some weird, funny things, but sometimes even they are deal breakers. And unless you've been with somebody, actually lived with somebody for a while, you don't know those things. They are not necessarily negative. They are not necessarily alarming or bad. But this is one of the reasons sometimes it's so hard to be with the person you love. Uh, it's because you have your standards, you like things certain way, and you guys also used to things to be certain way, and here you come, and Ukrainian lady is all like, oh gosh, this furniture is 150 years old, and you think to yourself, well, it came from my grandmother. So anything from your house, from the way it looks, from the way it feels, anything from your personal habit, from your hygiene, I hate to say it, but that's part of it. Anything from just being compatible. You do not know this unless you live with somebody. And that's why it's wonderful that you do have those 90 days. So today we're discussing, what do you do when you know it's not working out? Do you just hope that things will get better? Let's just focus on the relationship part. Whatever the reason is, you can tell she is not she's not really connecting with you. She's not really happy, and maybe she's disappointed. A lot of Ukrainian women think that America, it's New York and tall buildings and people looking like movie stars. Seriously, that's what I thought when I was like when I was around 17, 18 years old. I felt like, oh my gosh, I hope I will look okay, around movie stars. But okay, I was very young, I was still a teenager, but these were the thoughts because I wasn't traveling yet. to Europe. And I remember the moment I saw a random camera on the streets of New York. And I remember the cultural shock. I could not understand where are these people that I saw in the movies? Where are all these people in suits? All these people with perfect faces and perfect bodies, and all these millionaires. Because that's what the movies, especially there was this movie. I think it was called Dallas, with all those actors and fur coats, and I was thinking, wow, that is amazing. Don't really appreciate so much the soap opera, but I was very young and it was fascinating. So I thought that wow, unless you're a supermodel, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. Oh well, we all know it's not true. Of course, there are places and areas in the United States that are more into business and fashion and all of these opportunities. But usually, those are not the places where you would bring your family. Usually, even if you were born or you have a business, like downtown Chicago or LA or New York, usually that's not the best place to raise your children. And you hear this from the person who was born in pretty metropolitan city in Kiev, Ukraine. um, and I actually love big cities, but American big cities and European big cities have major differences. As of this moment, I would not want to live downtown Chicago. I just would not. No, thank you. I want to make sure people I love come back home in one piece. So these are the topics that you need to address and tell the truth. You have less chances of helping. You have less chances of having conflicts with your Ukrainian lady if you tell her the truth. If you tell her, Kiev is a beautiful city, it's so sophisticated, maybe we'll buy an apartment here someday, maybe that's what you want to do. But you have to tell her, in the United States, that's actually back in time what my husband told me. Back in time when things were bright and new, he honestly told me, he was almost crying. He told me, listen, where I live, it's nothing compared to Kiev, Ukraine. I just want to tell you the truth. People gonna look at you. People going to ask you, are you an actress, or what are you doing here? They're gonna be look at you very surprised. And I had no idea why he was saying this. Unless you have experience of something, unless you been there, you have no idea. I could not understand exactly why would people think that if it's just a regular Tuesday. But he was 100% spot on. When I came here, a lot of people were approaching me, asking me questions, and they just didn't know what to make of it. Guys, I live in a small town, Michigan, not too far from the capital, about 20 minutes from the capital. So I can go places, but small town life is very different. And so we did not have a conflict though. We did not have a conflict. I did not lash out at him saying, oh my gosh, where have you brought me? You really want me to live in this little tiny buildings? I mean, how you call it, one floor America, because in where I'm from, we always live in a tall, at least that was my experience, living in a condo type. So I was prepared for it. And here is the main point. I did not care. At that moment, it was a perfect man. It was a perfect time. Our interests aligned. Even if he would live in somewhere a lot worse where it is, and we have a very nice home, I would still be cool with that because I didn't come because of the country or because of what he had. In fact, I had no idea what he had and what he didn't. So here is a point for you. And the reason why I share my personal story from back in time, you know, guys, things had changed dramatically from then. But these are really sweet memories, and uh, we both of us, we had the purest intentions, and it was important because when things got rough, it was important that we were two good people trying to figure it out. Neither of us had bad intentions or anything like that. So coming back to the point, when you tell her the truth, where you live, how your daily life is, it's best to, you know, show her a video, just kind of give her an idea before she comes, because this way she will have less disappointments when she comes. She will have either disappointment or she will have adjust in time. There is no way around it. Sooner or later it's going to be somewhat of crisis. Sooner or later they're going to be hard moments. Guys, we all have our personal things. We all have our specifics. It's inevitable. So the more honest you are upfront, the better. So number one, tell her the truth, where you live, how you live. If she truly loves you, she will not mind being with you where you live. Number two, if you figure out that well, she's not happy about a lot of things, you cannot change those things. But most of all, in these 90 days, you do not have real intimacy with her. She's not trying to spend time with you. She is not, you know, not even talking about the passionate part, the sexual part, even though it's extremely important. So if that is not there and she has a headache and all of that, it means that she does not want you, and it's a very bad sign as well. But in this case, by intimacy, I mean, you know how you can spend countless hours with a person you really enjoy? And that's exactly what we did. I do not remember how the house looked like outside. I did not pay attention that there are some adjustments needed to be done. I do not remember anything. The first couple of months, I do not remember any outer things. I don't remember what weather was like. I mean, some things. I only remember that it was heavenly to finally be together. And that is the main point for you guys. If it does not feel to her being with you is awesome, that you both don't just enjoy that, it's not going to get any better. I don't care what psychologists are saying and therapists and all these people. I know in US they tend to say, well, wait a year, wait 2 years. No, hell no. The best and the sweetest is the time in the beginning. And if you guys ever been in love, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a best memory, you know, if you're lucky and you have continuous love, and even 10-20 years from now, you will see those memories and how sweet they are. And I can tell you that it's usually for the male and for the female. I talk from the experience. Yes, those are very, very special times. And if they're not special, if you're arguing, when you're supposed to be making love in bed and just having the best time and laughing and go out to eat and dressing up and seeing friends and just hug, and you know, people tell you to get a room. If you don't have all of that, plus you don't have deep conversations, that's a huge part of our culture. If she doesn't want to just to, you know, make tea, by the way, I need to learn how to make tea, guys. That's another point, another video though. If you can't sit down and just endlessly, you know, talk and enjoy each other, it's not gonna get any better. It's only going to get worse, because these things you cannot teach or convince somebody to be passionate about you. You cannot ask somebody to care about you. You cannot ask somebody to be excited about you. You cannot demand somebody wanting to hug you. You know how that feels when somebody wants to hug you, wants to kiss you, just want to be around you. And it's just a very important part of every stage. Yes, things then kind of settle down and become a little bit more casual, but that is a very, very important part. That is the reason why you've been waiting for a long time, right? Why you didn't go with Becky, or I don't know, other lady that's maybe your neighbor and you know she's single. When back in time, before my husband and I met, uh, his friends were trying to hook him up, probably not the right word, introduce him to, like, their wives were trying to introduce him to their girlfriends. And I remember he told me, I don't care if I die alone, I don't care if I go homeless, I don't care if I starve to death. There is no way in the world I would ever be with any of these ladies, because uh well, he was mature man. He wasn't a boy. So unfortunately, a lot of women stop caring about how they look like um, after a certain age. So he told me that there was no way in the world, when his wives of his friend trying to introduce him to somebody, he was just, and I can understand him very well. I can understand him very well about that. So you didn't come to this relationship through desperation. You came through that because you knew it was so worth it, that you would put up with distance, you would put up with the costs, with federal charges, with visas, and all the stress. I wish that if you are a genuine couple, you wouldn't have to go through 8 circles of hell to get uh, your wife here. Once again, K1 is the best way, but it's a lengthy process. So it's natural to be excited. It's absolutely natural to be excited and to just be present in the moment. If that's not your case and things are not going well, your lady in 90 days, she's never been intimate with you. That's an important thing. It's not the most important thing, guys. And especially, for men who are older, I would never tell you that sex is the most important thing. Definitely not. Seriously. I mean, but it's not about exactly that, but it's about the wish of being close. Every person craves intimacy. It's in us. It's a normal thing. Sometimes you have to have willpower to wait for the good thing to come, if you know what I mean. And it's difficult, but it's definitely worth it. So if you've never been intimate in 90 days, that's a very, very, very bad sign. If you don't feel close, if she's not happy, if her personality is, you just feel more alone than when she was there. And it's not that she's bad, but you realize something is off. It happens too, or you're just not compatible in a real life, because there is difference, once again, between dating and real life. Question is, what do you do? Do you send her back? Do you swallow this and hope things will get better? Do you go to a counselor or therapist? And a lot of men that I talk to feel that if they would have to send their ladies back home, that they are a failure. That, there is a chance that things would get better. And if they would not send her home, if you would have to send her home, they are a failure. And I want to tell you something very important. You take a tremendous responsibility for this lady. Tremendous responsibility. So if you trying to keep her because you feel sorry for her, because you hope it will get better, because you feel embarrassed between your family and friends, you're setting yourself for a major, major disappointment, pain, and years of a major mess. Don't feel sorry for her. She'll find another one. Number one. If you were attracted to her and it's not working out with her, maybe there is somebody better for you and better for her. Once again, she'll find somebody else. If she comes back during those 90 days, if she comes back to Ukraine, her she's not gonna be red flagged by embassy, by federal government. It's all according to the law, according to the way the K1 visa works. So she will have no problem, as far as I understand. I'm not a lawyer, but I know a little bit about this. She, as long as she does not exceed those 90 days, she comes back. She will be able to get another K1. Maybe she'll meet somebody else. So you will not hurt her in any shape or form for her future. It's only if you would report her, or she did something, or she was a fraud, only then there would be a situation where she might not be ever able to come back. If you decide to keep her despite of everything that's happened, despite of your pain, despite of her being cold toward you, despite of her, I personally know a case when the ladies that came, she went to the like a second bedroom, and that would be the only place she would not talk, she would not eat, she would not do anything. This is not normal. If you guys think, oh well, maybe it's Ukrainian mentality, it's not a Ukrainian mentality. We talk everything. I'm talking to you right now. We love to talk. And if we are upset, we love to talk. If we are happy, we love to talk. So no, it's not Ukrainian culture. And don't be silly. Don't get responsible for somebody you don't even know, somebody who do not want to know you, or somebody who have habits with who you won't be okay. Maybe you come from a different social status. Maybe you got attracted, you fall in love with a woman that is from a totally different social circle, and her behavior embarrasses you when you go out. You do have to teach her about American etiquette. For example, I would say, well, there are certain places where you don't tell what you really think, because you're going to be a fool if you do, right? Russian and Ukrainian people a lot more direct. Things like flirting with other men while you're with your husband, that stuff is universal. You don't need to teach Ukrainian women to not flirt or be inappropriate, or be playful behind your back or while you're present, when you are socializing. When you engage with a woman, she is your representative. So if you have social status, if you know you've been working for years to be where you are, and it looks like you just brought a lady from the nightclub because she has, maybe you just were naive and you ignored all the red flags, so you're just her step, which doesn't happen that often really, but it does happen sometimes. Pay attention. Don't close your eyes if she goes, if she flirts and she's looking for other men who may be more attractive than you. Well, these men did not bring her here. So that's his initial respect. You want to have a woman that is classy and faithful when you're not in the room, when you're not in the town, when you're not in the city, and maybe you're even not in the country. That's the kind of woman you want. You want the woman that you can have your eyes closed and you know that she is deeply appreciative and she has that code, you know, inside of her. You know, we all make mistakes sometimes when we are younger, like a lot younger, when we are teenagers and let's say very young adults. But those things are not okay when you are a mature person. And if that person did not learn till their 30s and 40s and 50s, they are not going to learn. Don't have this idea that, oh, you know, she disrespected me, but she's learning. These are universal values. These are traditional conservative values, which actually a good base to build anything. It's really funny, but even liberal people who have liberal beliefs, for some funny reason, for some very strange reason, crave conservative women. They might not say it out loud, but what they describe, liberal culture do not offer that. Liberal culture offers something very different, something you want to run as far as you can. Anything that starts with blue hair to body positivity when you get up to 300 pounds and nobody can tell you a word because you'll be offended, and all this BS and all this feminism, it's not, it doesn't come from conservative. So I'm not trying to convert people, but I'm just saying the truth. I've noticed I have all kinds of followers, and some of them, they all have different beliefs. But one thing I've noticed that all my followers, regardless of their beliefs, they all want deep down a conservative woman in her belief. You know, traditional and the one that has class. The one that won't be walking around without her bra outside in some t-shirt and decide to become 5XL and will make fun of you when you go out with your friends. So let's be honest here. You want to look for that. If you do not have these values deeply seated in your ladies, because let's say the truth, not every lady in Ukrainian culture are like this fabulous. You know, not every girl, every woman has traditional beliefs, have respect for men, has loving and caring heart. Not every Ukrainian woman is like that. And some of them are also affected by feminism as well, and some of them are not that high quality of a person. So you have to keep your eyes open and your heart open. If you decide to keep with the relationship after 90 days, you have to officially get married. But if you didn't know that, there is 10 years. If you get a divorce, if something happens, you sign affidavit of support. Other words, affidavit of support that you're not going to ask the government with any kind of assistance or help, and you are the one responsible for her well-being. So if you not compatible, if she doesn't treat you right, or you don't treat her right, maybe you don't, you know, whatever's going on, if you decide out of shame, out of guilt, out of embarrassment before your friends and family to keep her in the country and get married, you basically signing a 10-year official paper where you will have to support her. She is your responsibility for 10 years, and you are responsible to make sure she's doing okay. So think twice. And not to mention the emotional reason is that there is no reason to be unhappy. even though it took a long time, she's not the last woman in the world. And sometimes your worst disappointment and your worst relationship leads you to the right one. Very often. Um, you also need to ask yourself, why hadn't you noticed certain things? Um, why did you know things but didn't act on them? Because most of men I talk to, they are not dumb, they're not stupid, but they want to believe that 25-year-old was in love with twice their age man who she didn't even want to walk close when they go shopping. Or she wouldn't put her phone down when you were in bed. Or, you never really had any moments. So if you are the kind of guys that want to like to yourself and say, yeah, well, she's gorgeous, yes, can you imagine, Veronica, she loves me? No, actually I can't. Beauty or handsomeness, I don't know, being handsome is important for Ukrainian women. It's not the number one thing, but if you look bad together, if you don't have that harmonious couple look, and if it looks, it just, you just know it. You know how sometimes the couple come and they can have age difference both ways. You never know, but there is harmony, there is something about this couple, it vibrates. And then sometimes the guy is not very greatly looking, the woman is really pretty, but there is something going on between them. They are playful, they are, you see the body language, they are hugging, they are laughing, they have more in common, than maybe beauty is represented just by the woman. But very often there is no chemistry and there's no connection, and you already know, the couple didn't even start talking, you already know what this is about. So if that's your case, you understand that you carry responsibility as well. All right, you carry responsibility. You're not blind, you're not a child, you're not a baby, you are a grown man. And if you will consider doing things out of guilt, out of shame, you will have a very unhappy life. So I, of course, talk to people, and I don't just come up, with these ideas because I have nothing else to do. These are real people stories. I'm gonna try to record. Sorry, guys, my hair bothering me today. I'm going to try to record a little bit more detailed video about the recent story with lots of details for my Patreon account. But you getting the idea. If you're not happy, it's not gonna get better. The only thing, it's gonna get worse, number one. Number two, you will have to provide for another decade. And be responsible, not only providing, but being responsible for her actions, because you signed for her. You can learn more details. Once again, I'm not a lawyer. I guess I could have been, but I don't want to be a lawyer. You can learn this information into depth. But guilt is not a good idea to stay anywhere. And the beginning of relationship is always a higher vibration. It's always a higher emotion. It's a high energy. It's desire to get to know each other, to spend time, and all of the above, right? So if it's not there, it's not gonna get better. I'm gonna share a little bit more. It took about 8 years after the separation or a divorce for a client of mine who kept the woman that was ignoring him, didn't want to be intimate with him, didn't want to talk to him, was just abusive to him all the way, mentally, emotionally. But he was embarrassed to send her home. His friends was inviting him, asking him, well, keep her, this and that. It took him 8 years after that to meet another woman. He was so depressed and hurt and just going through the motions. And he was really angry at himself that he didn't have the courage, the strength to end what was not working. So that's end of this topic. I'm gonna say hi to everybody. Okay, I'm gonna start with the end. Plenty of fish in the ocean. Yeah, there is plenty of fish in the ocean. Um, depends where you live, but even then, there are options always. 90 days is more than enough to see red flags. I agree. Unless you are asleep, unless you are completely asleep, 90 days is enough to see red flags. 100%. Okay, John is saying it's hard to describe all a fiancé must know. I just wish there was a possibility to get a tourist visa. Well, unfortunately, it's basically next to impossible to get a tourist visa. And this is, once again, guys, this is where you realize how privileged you are, living in this country. And doesn't matter your social status, your background, your nationality, your race, you all have American passports and you can go to Ukraine. Just need to hop on the plane. This is just, you see, before you some of people complain and cry that they are the wrong colors, the wrong height, the wrong social. I'm just looking at this like, don't tell this to me. Don't ever complain how unfair United States is to an immigrant. Okay, you can complain to your buddies, but don't complain to an immigrant how difficult things are for you, because we're just gonna look at you and think that your critical thinking needs some help. I'm just being 100% direct about this because I can no longer listen to people sharing how unfair things are. Yes, they are unfair if you're laying on your couch all day, but that's another video. All right. So there is no way to get, for 95% of Ukrainian women, there is, okay, maybe 90% of Ukrainian women, there is no way to get a tourist visa. It's a lengthy process, but once again, what's cool about K1 Fiancé visa, shout out to US Embassy again, it's the best way, because if you have evidence of your relationship, if you follow the steps, it's like 99% deal that it's gonna get smooth, nice, and it's gonna work out. And 6-7 months sounds like long time, but time gonna pass anyway. You can maybe see her a couple times before that, and it's really the best way to do this. And I'm not getting paid, by the way, by US government or embassy. But it's about time, isn't it? Um, Aaron is asking, I wonder how many horror stories there are in comparison to successful marriages. As far as my own statistics, there are more successful marriages over the horror stories. But there are more horror stories with a big age gap difference. And I don't care what the people tell you to just get you to buy the product, but there are more horror stories when you marrying your daughter. Unfortunately, I know you guys, I know what you want. I know you want to have a child at 60, but you put yourself at a lot more risks than if you would go for somebody a lot closer to your age. But once again, from my own statistics, people I know, my own experiences, I would say probably 30 to Um, I would say from what I've seen, 30 to 40% of failure toward 50 to 60 of success. Uh, but the divorce rate is lower in the international marriage than domestic marriage. So that is inspiring. That is inspiring. And the thing is, I'm not trying to say, oh, don't try anything. No, you should try anything. My journey was not perfect. I had a lot of bumps. That's why I'm making these videos. I've learned a lot. Um, and I have no regrets, despite of all the pain and all the curves and all the things that had happened. And so you gotta do what you gotta do. Just be a, because if you marry a good person, something happens. Life happens. We don't have intentions of for things to not work out, but sometimes it happens. Still, if you marry a good person, she is not gonna tear you apart. I'm telling you this because I know. She will respect you and you will do best for her. She will do best for you. Of course, it's not the ideal. We all know what ideal is. And it's a good desire to have, a good intention to have. So, Erin is saying 10 years of, um, okay, let me see. 10 years of material spousal support for a failed relationship is a heavy commitment. Yes, guys, I'm giving you very important information here. In marriages, in marriage agencies, they are, a lot of them are good and they're working hard, but they really, it's like when you go to the store, buy things. They want you to buy it, but I don't know how many of them tell you that you are responsible. And you just need to know it. Maybe you have millions, maybe you're Donald Trump Jr. So it's not a problem for you to support Ukrainian women for 10 years. We're gonna talk about prenups. Who wants me to talk about prenups in my next video? This is an excellent reason to have you. Oh, thank you. As a relationship consultant, worth every penny. Thank you so much, Erin. Oh, that's what I do hear this from people, and it's just really makes me get up in the morning, and I feel happy to share knowledge that nobody could share with me when I need it. It was very, very difficult to figure things out for both of us, and both of us would do anything to have somebody to help us and understand things. So thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, my fingers kind of. Thank you, guys, for the kind words, for the compliments. Okay, how do I touch the screen? It doesn't show. Lawrence, good luck with your flight. Have a smooth flight to Ukraine. Good luck. Lots of adjustments. Yep. A lot of adjustments. If she doesn't speak the language, that's another one. A real man will not let his woman suffer in pain, but will provide love, comfort, affection, and security. Very true. That's why a lot of Ukrainian women are looking for men who really appreciate them. It's very true. John is saying, you're right, Veronica. These ideas are still very present. Others think we are like movies, and it's opening, and it's eye-opening when Russian and Ukrainian was. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think I shared with you guys. I'm really in the mood to like have a cozy talk today. I just missing my tea, but on this snowy night, I think I shared with you guys in some of my early videos how when I came here and I would just walk in my small town, just take a walk while my husband was at work. sometimes I would see people and I thought that they were killers. I would literally freeze. So some people would pass me and they would wear this like real raggedy clothing, and I'm not used to that. Just it's usually the bad guys who wear that. And I remember passing around the people, and I would just my breath. I was just okay. I'm gonna get killed right now. But those were just nice, normal people. They would say hi, how are you doing? But they look like apocalypses uh, took over. So yeah, I mean, it's just different. It's just very different. You need to prepare her. I was really scared, and I'm not trying to say this to hurt somebody, or there are a lot of good looking people as well, but people just I didn't know what is it, but I thought, okay, I'm gonna get killed, and that's very sad because I just got here. I was just so scared. I remember that you have this cold feeling in your stomach when you think that your life is being threatened, but then the person I thought was threatening my life just waved me and say hi. So go figure. It's just really different. G. Lee. Yes, I do offer consulting services. Maybe somebody could write my email so you can reach out and request exactly what you need, because there are things I can help with and there are things I cannot help with. So my email is consultveronica@gmail.com, but I know somebody would write it here. I hope. I hope you guys are not driving and somebody can post it for me. Or you can find it under the video when I am done. Thank you guys for the kind words. Thank you so much. Hey Brian. Hey John. Okay, let's see. Um, Aaron, it's very hard to adjust your egos when you pass certain time in life. It's really important, the compatibility. The thing is, when we are younger, we are a lot more uh, flexible. When we are younger, we are willing to learn. If you did not mold to a certain person till you in your 40s and 50s and 60s, you're not going to be able to do that. I'm just saying the truth. Even right now, I already know that I can take no crap. I can take no, could not, even though I have very feminine qualities, and at the same time there is ambition and things like that. But when somebody tells me, oh, you cannot record this video, you cannot go here, you can go there, even for a person with conservative beliefs, when somebody is just invading your space or trying to mold you in another person, Aaron, if somebody would try to mold you in another person, I don't think you'll be too cool with that. So I think it's going to be a very mild process of adjusting each other egos. You are a formed person. It's not like you getting married at 19. uh, let's just face it, that you're either compatible or you're not. Yes, there are gonna be little things, but you're either compatible or you're not. And it applies to all the relationships. It applies to friendships too. It applies to friendships, all the interpersonal connections. You either just take off with a person, you just connect, or it's just not working out. I have a female friend that I've been trying to be friends with, but I don't think it's gonna work. And it's not about somebody being a bad person, but it's about compatibility. Sometimes you're not compatible. I like when people following up with what they say they're gonna do, and I like when people appreciate the kindness. And I think once again, interpersonal relationships, they are just like that. Um, you are counting that the other person will treat you as well, you know. Not gonna go into details. So, and that's another thing when it comes to friends. Your Ukrainian lady will have an easier time to make friends with feminine, maybe feminine American women, women that actually raise their kids and that love in their husband, and appreciate them. But I cannot be friends with feminists. I cannot be friends with sloppy women that don't care about how they look like, what their children eat. I can't. And your Ukrainian woman probably would be similar. Probably. It's very, very hard to be in that environment when you just feel alone, you know, when you just don't have anything in common. You can be acquaintances with almost anybody, but to build friendship, as let's say female to female, you need to have some things in common. So if you don't, um, yeah, I'm still in shock from my recent experience with the person that just does not appreciate the good. So red flags, guys. Red flags are real. Red flags are real. Don't just discount the red flags. It's not about people being perfect. Everybody can make a mistake and then say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was a," or "I'm so sorry." We all. I'm not saying that they should be perfect or spotless. Nobody's spotless in this virtual room. Okay, we all have our ups and downs. We all have our issues and so on and so forth. But don't ignore the red flags. Don't. All right, I'm gonna share with you guys. There is something about sloppy women. Sloppy. I mean, women that not taking greatest care of their kids, and they are sort of, you know, Ukrainian women would never do this. I'm gonna share with you because this person has no idea about my channel, and if she does, I hope she hears this because this is the truth. I had taken some kids for the fun times. My son had a birthday, so we had fun getaways. We were going some places and had a sleepover and all kinds of things. I'm trying to give my son this childhood experiences that he can remember. So, well, one of the children, I was going to meet his mom, later, 2 days later. So it means this child was taken care of, fed, had fun, all of these things. So everything is great. We agreed to meet at my house so she can pick him up. I was somewhere else. And you have to understand, it's Michigan. It's snowing. It's uh, 10 degrees, 15 degrees. It's dark, it's slippery, it's icy. And I'm driving back home. And then she sends me a message. "I'd like you to drop him at my house. Thanks." It's dark. I don't know where your house is. Just so you know, Ukrainian women from the city are terrible in the country. So I live actually in the city. It's a small town, but I live in actual city part. Um, so she asks me, it's dark. The country roads are covered with ice. Uh, I don't know how to find her, not to mention I'm exhausted after doing all this. If somebody takes care of my kid for 2 days, I have no questions to ask. Tell me what I can do for you. So anyway, I have to figure out how to get this child home. This is not funny. It's like 7 o'clock, but it feels like 11 o'clock. If you live north, you know how it feels like. And so, um, that's a true story. I'm just still angry. Still very angry about it. I cannot leave a kid somewhere. I have to make sure he's home. So I call her several times. She does not pick up her phone. I send you a message that I don't even know how to find you. No response. So I called your boyfriend and he gave me some directions. To make a long story short, um, Ukrainian lady is not gonna be friends with a person with low standards and with disrespect. You know, you can be kind, but you're not stupid. Okay, so if somebody using your kindness and trying to manipulate you, Ukrainian women are very sweet, but they are no pushover. You know, when somebody tells you they're gonna be at a certain place and they are not there, and they tell you that they'd like you to do something, thanks. I'd like you to bring him to my house. Thanks. I was thinking, you. That's exactly where my thoughts and my words. Are you crazy? Um, some people do not have appreciation for your efforts. You can give him the biggest lecture. You can tell them, uh, you can tell them what's going on. They won't get it. Mm-mm. They will not get it. Well, it was my idea. They had actually a 3-day fun, so I wanted to do something special for my son's birthday, and it's my favorite day in the year, like better than every other day. So I want him to have what he wants, um, and his favorite thing is friends. So we organized some really cool stuff. Yes, exactly. Actually, it was almost 3 days. It was 2 full days, and Monday till 7 p.m. So I'm just sharing with you guys because I'm a real person. I might cut off this ending later on when I edit. Maybe I'll cut this off. I don't know, but I'm just sharing with those people who are on the stream. Most people won't watch probably till the end of the video, but I'm just telling you the truth. I don't have that many American girlfriends. I have several, and they are out of this world, not including this one. But they are out of this world, and we are real with each other, and we have very similar values and very similar beliefs. But it's probably 2 or 3. That's it. And I have several, Ukrainian ones. That's it. That's it. A lot of American women do not, well, I don't want to just generalize. Let's just say a lot of women who are very westernized or very, became very laid back. I cannot look how women feed their kids with McDonald's. I cannot see them playing video games. Um, I cannot do that. So when you don't align in those beliefs, it's not about somebody being good, somebody being bad. It's a different mentality, it's a different thinking, it's a different outlook on things. It's not about lecturing somebody, it's just the way they are. I'm not going to change them, they're not going to change me. So finding friends is a big thing, and you know it's important to be on the same page, you know. Sometimes you feel like you're alien, you have this like antennas coming. And when the boys were playing for the birthday, my condition was no video games, no PS4s, no devices. You have plenty of fun, but you play with each other. You play in the snow, you play football, you talk, you have fun, you play all kinds of games, you hide and seek, you do real stuff. So it was nice to have people who agree with me on that. But I just know what it does with people's minds. So, and if I get tired of this, I'm gonna go to early child development, I guess. But thanks, guys, for sticking with me for so long on this video. As I said, I might cut like last 30 minutes. It's just for you who actually been on the call. But we will talk about friends and social connections for your Ukrainian lady. I can tell you the truth. Uh, for Ukrainian women, friends, female friends are gold, and it's true. You know, we need that female energy. We need to be able to talk about colors and dresses and children and our dreams and our relationships. We need it. And when you have that female friend you can talk to, it's just really sweet and delicious and wonderful. And I love my girls with the bottom of my heart. Seriously, if they call me, if any of them call me at 3 a.m. at night, I'll be there. So I appreciate those beautiful girls that I have in my life right now, my friends. But it takes you a while to find this, and just speaking Russian or Ukrainian is not always enough to be a good friend. So just want you to consider that. Thank you guys for sharing my email. Yeah, it's actually consultveronica@gmail.com. I do have a website, but I don't often check. I need to check email there too. Anyway, guys, I'm just looking. Do any last minute questions, comments, kind words? Okay. All right. The kid knew where he lived, but he it's dark and he is like 9 years old. He doesn't he knew only part of his street, and then when I was driving he didn't know. Guys, it's like darkness. It's like dark is if I switch off all the lighting, it's dark as night. There is no street lights, by the way, in the country. That's another shock, guys. For Ukrainian women, there is no. I live on a main street, so I have lights and everything. But the country has no lights. I remember when I started driving, I was cursing and crying. Yes, I am from Kiev, Ukraine. So when I started driving some years ago, I remember I got lost in the woods and it was dark, and we had those flip phones, you know, and that goddamn phone died. And GPS, no GPS, I can't call. My car is cold. I mean, I'm cold. It's winter. It's icy. And I remember crying and just go on my, just losing it. And I was just so angry. And I was just yelling things like, why did I ever come into this village? I hate this. Why people can't live like normal civilized people? So I went on this whole tangent, but I was just scared and frustrated, and I could not call my husband because my phone died. And you are used to what you grew up with. I grew up in a big city. I feel like fish in the water there. Some people grew up in the country, they hate big cities, no matter if it's Europe or US. But it's very stressful. But then I don't necessarily hate it now, but I appreciate when people are considerate. And what was crazy, guys, I dropped the kid to the house. I did not get a message, thank you so much, or I appreciate nothing. I did not hear from her. You will never see this from a Ukrainian mother. Ukrainian mother, if you have their child, she will call you 15 times. She will ask you where you're gonna be. If you had taken care of their child for whatever time, they're gonna try to bring you something, do something for you. Um, anyway, um, but most of all, they will be on their phone. They will say where and how, and I'm gonna be there. Death or life, uh, ice storm, a snowfall, you know, volcano is errating. I'm gonna be there. That's one thing that really broke my heart, because I was thinking I could not imagine somebody calling me about Ruslan and telling me, "Hey, we have your son. Like, what's your address? Or could you come to pick him up?" I would come. Uh, I would climb. I would crawl. I'd do anything to get my son back. I mean, that was insane for me. Um, Especially that, guys, motherhood for Ukrainian women, it's just we didn't get into this agenda of feminism and thinking how great life is without uh, having people you love. And it's a big thing. Seriously, if somebody calls me and I know my son had a great time, but I probably would be already an hour, like I'll be like, where's he? Oh my god, they're driving, it's like freezing, it's raining, okay, where is he? It's dark, where's my baby? It was shocking to me. Another thing is, once again, being grateful. We don't do kind things to have people bow to us, or say, "Oh, you're such a great person." No, we do kind things because we love people around us. uh, we do kind things because it's our nature, because we couldn't do it any other way. And I'm going to tell you another thing for about women who are real mothers. There is no child of stranger. When I see a child, no matter his age, background, race, nationality, uh, where he's my child too. If I see a child somewhere, I'm gonna do anything to make sure he's safe. It's just there. We were born like this. Period. So, guys, for me, you know what? Maybe it's not so bad that I shared about the situation with a female. We are not really friends, as you can understand, but my female acquaintance, I think it's a good thing that I shared about this. Maybe I will not delete this, because that is a huge, also, personality and mentality difference. I could not name you any of my friends, any of people I know, uh, that would not pick up the phone when I call about their son, or when I'm lost, if I just don't know anybody. And the interesting thing is, if I would know that the person doesn't know how to drive to me, I would just say, "Don't move." Do not risk my child's life. Don't move, or I will kill you. Don't move, you know? So, you know what? I'm gonna keep it, because here you go. And let me tell you, this lady, I'm not judging her, not trying to, I don't know her life. I know she's maybe not that fulfilled, but that's the way we raise our children are just completely different. Let's just put it like this. Maybe to her opinion, I'm doing this all wrong. So I'm not trying to be superior, but I'm just showing you the difference between the Slavic dedication and the women who are just, they kind of hoping it's gonna be okay. Yeah, it's kind of like this sloppiness, or it's like you hoping it's gonna be okay, right? I don't know any Ukrainian woman that would be okay um, with that. Yeah, yeah, we are crazy mothers. Warning, guys, if you're not okay with that, motherly things, Ukrainian woman is not for you. I have to say, most of Ukrainian women are really, really dedicated and good mothers. It's true. It's no joke. Oh, thank you, Bill Howard. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. There is a part of American culture where people are just really comfortable. They just go with the flow. They let their kids, just watch video games as long as they want. They let kids, be sloppy. not being put together. They don't have discipline for their kids. They're not giving them the proper nutrition, and the list can go on. But this is not a part of our culture. All Ukrainian women agree on horrible influence of the video games, and there is limitation, a huge limitation. I don't have a station at home. I don't have a PS4 or Xbox. Nope, nope. When he goes, sometimes I let him play once in a while, but now he doesn't even ask for it. He discovered that there is more to do than play video games. It affects young minds so much, and it's horrible. So all Ukrainian women and Russian women agree on two things about kids: is extreme limiting of device time and video game time, and also good diet, real food, not the nasty fast food, real home cooked food. So yes, just 90% of Ukrainian women gonna be exactly falling into those categories. Education first, learning, developing, running outside, getting dirty, uh, cutting goddamn devices off, and having good food. So if you are about to give some technology piece to your woman's child, you first ask her if she wants to have it. People offered me Xboxes, PS4s, and big TVs, and I'm having none of that in this house. I told him, when you grew up, you can have anything you want. That's the Ukrainian style. And Russian, it doesn't really the same. Wow. This parenting session is sponsored by I'm gonna parent somebody right here. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it would have been a great footage, but I don't know if anybody ready to see the fierce side of me. I don't like that fierce side. Albert is saying, I wish you could give me advice on how to deal with my 44-year-old son. Well, Albert, I'm sorry to say this, but it's too late. It's too late. There's things gotta be done early. I do not know how to deal with 44-year-old. I'm not there yet. So the important thing is to do all these painful things early, because I totally realize that after when your child is a teenager, it's too late. It's too late. You already done the damage. I'm sorry to say this, but it's too late. A lot of people complaining about teenagers in America. There is no problem with teenagers in America. There is a problem with parents in America, because they don't know how to discipline their children. So when they become teenagers, they treat you like crap, and that's what they do. But yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Patrick. Yep, we'll see about future. I should make a whole different video on raising kids and how different we are. Very different. We did have some disagreements with my son's father, when he was alive, about for the most part we would agree, but honestly the discipline came from me. And it's not that he didn't want it, but he just didn't have experience of it. And he told me that he really liked that I know how to discipline him. So yeah, Albert, I'm sorry to hear that, but sometimes you need to face it, and it is what it is. And it's not like, I mean, if you have a chance, if you before you done it, you want to make sure that you do it right. Discipline is what major lacking in American culture. It's unbelievable what kids get away with. It's wow. So, on this positive note, the parenting session, the wife, the K1 and parenting session is coming to an end. From Michigan with love. I'm gonna go and get my hot tea because it's dark and cold, which is a perfect time to relax. Um, Parenting is not hard when you know the principles. When you know the principles and you start early, it's not hard. Yes, you sometimes run into things. Sometimes you have bumps on the road, but it's not hard. It's a great journey, but you need to stand your ground. You can't be a pushover. Oh, and it's not, and you hear this from the extremely loving person. If I could get $1 for every kiss and hug I give to my son every day, me and Donald Trump Jr. will be sitting next to each other. I'll be talking with you from a private jet. So people just don't get that love and affection has nothing to do with enabling and spoiling. Love and affection and connection with your child and joy have nothing to do with spoiling, enabling, and letting them go undisciplined and weird. It has nothing to do with that. You can be extremely loving and affectionate parent, but have your child together. When I tell my son to do something, it's so cute. He's like, noted, noted. So have you go brush your teeth. You gotta do this. And when I go a little bit on a mad rant, kind of rage, not rage, but when I'm a little bit and I'm about to blow up, he would just say, noted, done. So all of you guys capable of this, okay? It doesn't take rocket science to do it. So you're all capable. It just sometimes you need to make a reinventory. By the way, I need to pick up my son from martial arts. So, hey Tanya, привет. It's almost over. All right, Tanya, you should show you should maybe we should share your story with the guys because my channel is about connections, American men and Ukrainian women, and people love inspiring story. So welcome, welcome. All right, thank you, Patrick. Somebody says Bill Howard is saying patent this video. I know. I need to patent most of my videos. Jerry Butler is saying there is entirely too much disrespect in this country today. Parents need to be parents, not their kids' friends. That's right. Yep. Yes, you're very welcome, guys. All right, I don't know if I would how things gonna go with my topics, but I love sometimes having long videos because we just go into a lot of detail. So I hope this was helpful. Tanya, when did you come to US? You know what? Maybe you can comment if you have a chance. I'm talking to Tatiana Webb. If you have a chance to maybe watch some part of this video, or you wanna, share some of your experiences, maybe we can connect because It's always interesting to know a story of success. As far as I know, you're pretty happy, even though you are like me in Michigan, right? So I would love to hear some comments from you. Yes, all right. Uh, Excellent. You can connect with me. I will post my email under the in a comment section. So I will enjoy my tea. Thank you so much. Uh, John is saying, thank you, Veronica. I very much appreciate your perspective on both American and Ukrainian culture. Yes, guys, I'm a person who is trying to make that bridge of understanding. Uh, I don't want to paint anybody in a dark color, but sometimes you can't throw away a word from the song, like we say in Ukraine. So, cannot throw away a word from the song. Из песни слова не выкинешь. Все. Обнимаю. From Michigan with love. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so very much, everybody.